Podcast. Big gamers, small talk. And you can get a 4K DVD player, which fortunately I have in my PS4 Pro.
Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't quite remember the PS4 Pro having a UHD Blu-ray player.
It doesn't. And the funny part about that was that dude sounded like he got in the next gen stash.
He must be getting high as fuck.
Hey, you're the genius with the intros. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Big Gamer Small Talk. We got an APP out on the crappy shitty game. I don't know where the hell he's at. I left him the link. Maybe he's watching Raw SmackDown, but I guess he's joined. But anyway, like I said, what happened?
Did his Ravens lose? Maybe he's taking a loss to heart.
I don't know. They always losing.
Take a look. I'll take a look right now.
Yeah. So this is it. I can't stand anymore, right? But like I said, we haven't got together in about a week, so a lot has happened, transpired within the week. Before we get to start, what's going on with you, Chris?
You know,
going on
just chilling, relaxing, enjoying the Sunday, and not a whole hell of a lot, man.
All right. Wait. All right. Tim Dog.
What's up, Zaire?
I haven't spoken to you about 9 weeks. Like it's like you like the president. You like
yeah.
Big news. What's a man named Bigley? It was Trump. I got to make an appointment to see what's going on with yourself.
No, just doing good. Just trying to fight off a cold now.
Man, you just got over like the flu, and now you're getting a cold.
I got a sore throat. I'm just hoping that it's just one of those things. But no, this Xbox actually hate to say it's not good for the health. When I play it, I stay up till 5 in the morning, and when you do that at an older age and you go to work, it's not like a kid. You can just pop right up and just do that. There's a recovery. So other than that, very happy to be alive.
Alive, Jesus. All right. That was kind of depressing. Hey, Ken Megan, what you got going on with yourself, Ken Megan?
Nothing, man. Over here sweating bullets, watching my Rams and play the Eagles, man. It's a going back and forth great game. And, man, I got hooked up with Destiny 2, played a little bit of that. Actually,
how is it?
It's a cool game. It's cool. I watched a lot of gameplay of it and was like, I'll play it, but I just said I wasn't going to buy it. So shout out to one of the supporters, Delirium Blades, man, hooked me up with it, man. That was really dope. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, for sure.
Good dude.
Really good dude.
Delirium Blades, yeah, I think I haven't spoken to him since I murdered him in Gears of War 4. I've lost a lot of friends over Gears, man.
He's actually the guy that gave me changed my name from Project Natal fan to Beastfire Tim Dog. I was in the chat. We were at Xbox Live, and it was during last year around this time, and he was just like, all the guys in the party were like, yo, you got to change that name. It's like way played out. Cool. So we just we came up with Beastfire because of what we called Xbox One X at the time, and then just Tim Dog. So he's a good dude, and shout out to him.
All right, for sure. Like I said, we didn't convene together last week. What the hell happened last week?
Crap was sick.
No, I know besides somebody being sick, but what news? We know something that we didn't cover. Something came up last week, or was any big news last week?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of shit.
Yeah,
we got PSX, we got the Video Game Award show. Well, I haven't spoken to you guys about, so I don't know your opinion.
PUBG would have been what we talked about last.
Okay, all right, we can start with PUBG. There you go. I know we didn't do PUBG. What was the head developer over there at Blue Hill? What's this guy's name?
Brandon Green.
Brandon Green did an interview, whatever the case. And he, now listen, to be fair, and I'm not going to put on the tinfoil hat here, but last E3, a week after E3, whatever, he maybe gave an interview. They said they got their hands on the Project Scorpio dev kits, and they had PUBG running up to between 30 and 40 frames. I heard 42, but between 30 and 40 frames within the week of having their hands on the dev kit. So, you know what I mean? They were aiming for 60, whatever the case may be. Now, he came out last week before last, and said the Xbox One version will be 60 frames. They don't know about the standard Xbox One, all right? Xbox guys were raising their hands, screaming and shouting, and when the videos were excited, right? And then the following day, because you did have, I don't understand why, people on, how you say, hashtag no parity, hashtag parity on Twitter. Like, I don't want to divide and fracture the gaming community. You had some Xbox guys there.
A lot of Xbox guys. It was Xbox people.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that's about.
They were all up in that too.
Yeah, I again, and I listen, and I said this right, and I want to get you guys' opinion. And I barely tweet any CEOs or anything, but I spent $500 for a premium console, right? Let's be fair to this. And gaming is a very, very selfish hobby. Not everyone has a 4K TV. Not everyone that plays Forza has a $300 racing wheel. Not everyone that plays Killer Instinct has a $200 fight stick. You know what I mean? So you get what you pay for, and I don't think it's fair. And I think again, that's something that Microsoft and them could I say thump their chest about this quote unquote this next generation console. And because originally first said they frame rates will be tied, and then they came out and said no, they won't. Mandate it. Developers can do what they do. But like I said, we're not talking about the guy that told D at the event that Assassin's Creed was going to be 60 frames. We're talking about the man behind the man. The man said the game will be 60 frames. Now all of that changed. You know what I mean? And I go back to the point when I say it again. This Microsoft, this generation to me acts like they have the better wife syndrome. Be the behemoth you are. They roll back. And this lesson, I'll give you an example, right? When Sony got the backlash for the Detroit Human, for the domestic abuse, and people were shitting all over the media, and Sony answered that and handled it, brilliantly. They said this game is made by adults to be played by adults. You know what I mean? And I just, but anyway, so what are your thoughts about this? Do you think Microsoft said, hey, when it's like, no, it's going to be 30 frames? Because they said the game was up to 40 frames. We can have the dev kit. And again, we got with a much more capable console. Let's be clear, this PUBG is not a very graphically demanding game. It's not a lot going on. You know what I mean? I just don't understand. Like, what's your thoughts about this, Tim?
Well, I can tell you guys first off that Microsoft's not here putting out the parity thing. That story that's come out. That's not true. Okay. Their people were out on vacation. Even Greenberg tweeted about it. There's no clause or anything. What happened here is, I think Brandon just kind of went a little. It was a little too early in what he said. You have to realize the game is in preview. It's coming out in 2 days. We haven't seen one footage of it, so we have no idea. Only person who knows that is Brandon. So. I think that is their ultimate goal, is to go 60 frames per second, and in a year and a half when it comes out, or whenever it comes out of preview, however long that is, I think that their goal is to have 60 frames per second on Xbox One X. That's what my personal opinion, but nobody's mandating parity. All that stuff is just gamers just speculating on it because of the guy with the comment. Now, his comment was pretty concrete, so that's why it was such a big deal. But he spoke too early, I believe, or
the head developer, the guy, the man behind the man.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, if there was going to be people making decisions on that, they're on vacation. The way Microsoft works is you set a plan all year long at the beginning of the year, and then in December is like your downtime. As you can see, there's no backwards compatibility games coming. The whole division goes on shutdown. So when this all came up, it was, people didn't know. They were like, whoa, what the fuck? So the only person that can answer that question is Brandon, and he, put out his statement the second day. But the second day, the day after, he did specify that, they're going to look to optimize it. So I think at the end of the day, this is going to be 60 frames per second. It'll be one of those times where we look back and be like, oh, gamers run crazy, but here we are, we're playing 60. And there is going to be no parity on the thing. So if you're on Xbox One X, you're going to have an advantage. So Xbox has stated this time and time again. Originally it was stated by Shannon Loftus that there would be parity, and then it came up in July of this year, and Ybarra tweeted that there's not going to be parity. Developers are free to utilize the power as they want for Scorpio Engine. Phil Spencer retweeted it. Shannon retweeted it. Basically, everyone was in conjunction that's where they're going. And just recently, 2 days ago, Aaron Greenberg specified the same thing. He said there's no parity. You can go look at his Twitter. And that's that. So it's not like Microsoft's here saying we're going to have parity. That's just not happening, And I think at the end of the day, the game is going to be at 60 on X, maybe a year from now, but you're not going to have parity. So when this all happened, there was so many people that were upset, And then they were all like laughing about it when it was 30 frames per second, making a big joke like, "Oh, it can't handle it." So now when it goes back to 60, you know, those people, they got no leg to stand on. You know what I mean? Those people who flip-flop back, you know, you either feel a way about this or you don't. Like for me, I just think it's up to the developers, and that's the bottom line. I think Microsoft has the right attitude with it.
No.
Right.
All right. Well, Chris, what do you think?
I mean, in the end, we all paid $500 for a premium device. That's what they said this was.
Okay.
I want the best of what that developer can do for that specific console. I don't want to pay. I don't want parity. I didn't buy this console just so that I would have parity with the other one. If I wanted parity, I just would have bought the S. What's the point?
You know what? And listen, I look at it like this, right? And let me say this, right? When we do these videos, we do these videos, right? You know, over the little top, do I embellish? Yeah, you know, it is what it is, right? Bleed me, right? And you know, say things for shock value. YouTube is entertaining, but there is, I would say, a silver lining under what I'm saying. You know, of what I really feel. You know what I mean? And again, me personally, you know what I mean, and you guys may feel different, but I understand they may not force parity, or they say they're not going to force parity. I just don't see the lead guy coming out and saying one thing and putting his foot in his mouth. Like you know what I mean, we ain't talking about the dude again that told D about 60 frames on Assassin's Creed. This is the Kojima over there. You know what I mean? I just don't see that happen. You know, D walking in with, so he had 2 fine white Jupiters on the leash and he had a presence or aura or some shit he told me that day. You know what I mean? Shout out to D. I threw him under the bus too. I'm sending D to join us too. And you know, so I just, and again, I'm not saying, you know, I don't know, Tim, you know what I mean? And that's just that guy there.
I predicted that this was going to happen the day before. As it happened, the day when I said, look, they're going to come out. I just know I met Brandon. I just think he might be like a little bit like, you know, one of these people that just like has, you know, loose mouth or whatever. Or just, you know, he kind of spoke too soon, you know. Like, I guarantee
you. Don't think that public backlash had nothing to do with it?
Yeah, well, I think that they got scared. Listen, at the bottom line is the Digital Foundry is going to take this game the first time it comes out, and they're going to do it on a stress test. What are you going to say when it's running 28 on 30? How is it going to run 60 then? That's what I think is going to come up. When you see this Digital Foundry technical analysis, you're going to see this game maybe not performing great. The game is not a great optimized code. It just isn't. It's just
I know it has problems on PC.
A lot. Yeah. That's why I knew it wasn't. People said to get it to run on 60 1080p with really good rigs. I've had people have problems. Some people said they could run it, but obviously it comes down to the code.
I've seen my son plays it. You know what I mean? I've seen it in person for the first time. I see new videos on YouTube. It's not a lot going. It's not even a pretty looking game. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, they're an independent developer. They're just like Ark.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But you know, I know Microsoft sent the ninjas in there. You know what I mean? They sent the ninja, you know what I mean? And, you know, with the water.
Coalition, too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? To help them with that. So, again, you know, sorry if I'm maybe a little pessimistic. Like, I don't know. Hey, make it talk to me, man.
No,
talk me off this ledge. I'm about to trade my Xbox One X now. I'm going down to GameStop.
There we go.
Talk me off this ledge, man.
See, here we go. All right, listen. The thing of it was that I was on the side of just like Chris. I was just basically saying, look, I'm not going to support this game if they listen to the Xbox One S crowd because of the fact that they want parity, and I don't want parity. I was just like what Chris said. I paid $500 for this console. I want the best of the best. Killer Phil said that this was a premium console. I want premium, the best of the best, you know. And so therefore, when I first heard that, I said I wasn't going to buy this game until they got it to 60 frames, because I think we all know that the developer wouldn't have said 60 frames if that game, you know, if it wasn't going to achieve that. Again, it's a catch-22 when you get into the logistics of what's really going on with these games, especially these games that are not fully developed yet. And we know on the PC that the game runs like garbage. I've heard it many times. I have not played the game yet on the PC. I'm just waiting for the X version. But the reason why you should still have hope is because what Microsoft has said and what they continue to keep saying is that they're going to let the devs have the independence to do what they want to do. And so obviously, I guess, like Tim said, that the guy just overspoke and they're not ready yet for some odd reason. And eventually it's going to come. So it still gives me hope for the game. But then again, you know, we can't have certain people try to dictate how a game should run just because they don't have that other product yet. So, you know.
Well, let me ask you guys, if Phil was asked a question about it, and
hold on 1 second. The Angry Therapist, thank you for dropping $10 in the super chat. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. You didn't ask a question. But
thank you for that. Thank you for that. No, I just want to say, if Phil came out and said that there's no parity and he specified it, would that be good enough for you guys, or do you still think?
Oh yeah, but you know, here's the thing though. Again, sorry if you know, I don't trust the government. Right? I got the 10 and 4 hat.
I understand that. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I just don't see the head guy coming out there and saying that. We're not talking about the man who created the game said the game will be 60, and then you had
he said definitely. He said 60 definitely.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And the next day to roll back on it, that to me that doesn't make that. No, we talking about a week later. Or we talking about again if they had the game up to I heard as high as 42 frames, right? With 1 week of having the dev kit, and again this is published, and the game comes out December 12th. This is at the 1 week at the E3. They got their hands on the Project Scorpio dev kit up to 42. I heard up to 42, between 30 and 42 frames, right? And then he comes out and makes an announcement 2 weeks ago. Said, you know, it will be 60 frames definitely on the X, right? But believe it or not, I didn't realize this, but there are a lot of PC gamers that are going to buy this game buy the X just for PUBG. And you know what I mean? I know a few people in Bang that went out got the X just to play PUBG on console. They tired of the cheating on PC, right? So you know you have that large community over there, and then you again, which kind of baffles my mind, you know, is that you got I used to say quote unquote pro Xbox guys. Somebody don't want to split the community. Here's my question, and again, where was this public outcry when they merged the servers PC on Gears? I didn't hear about splitting the community. You know what I mean? And they can run it.
That's the way a lot of Xbox gamers are. Sometimes we're real, you know. We live in the day, and people are emotional. I mean, when that all went down, there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh, it's not fair. I mean, it's good, but not fair, not fair." And there was a lot of that.
I'm really starting to hate social media.
Yeah, well, with social media it was stupid. You know, there was a lot to this story, and you know, I think that it might come out at the end, or you know, what really happened. But I think it's going to be funny though when you're playing it 60 frames per second on X. It's more about their code than anything, in my opinion. Once they refine their code, and you look at it, what happens with all game engines. And especially on Xbox, because they have a lot of help there, the game is going to optimize itself. I mean, when ARC came out, it was running 20 frames per second at you know, 678 on Xbox One, and they optimized it where it did like 720p. It still had its drops, but at the end of the day, you have engines that can scale up to 4K and can do a lot of things, and then you have engines that independent, you know, developers take on, or they make, or that, you know, they don't have the ready availability of many people working on it. And you know, it's just like anything else, you know, it needs time, and this is something where it needs time. It's a preview game, so you know, when it releases, when the official release is going to come out, I think it's going to be 60 frames per second, and it will be advertised as that. So I think that when that happens, that's going to happen. You're going to have an advertisement 60 frames per second on Xbox One X, and it'll be officially out whenever that is. Another thing to play into this is what's Sony's stake in this, and to be honest, their version looks like it's going to be pushed even back further. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that say this is an exclusive, and who knows with their relationship what happens with this game. I mean, the game's on Azure. They have people. They're all working together every day. They have people from the coalition. It's kind of like that. This is like they took them under the wing. So I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a full exclusive too down the line, or it becomes something of that nature.
They announced that. I'm sorry, I just dropped my. I had to put my hands back up. We talk about PUBG.
Yeah, well, just
they've been announced that it's console exclusive already.
Yeah, they did announce
They
it.
did announce it, but you know, there's always that question out. They came
how
out
long?
after. Is it going to be a Tomb Raider thing? I do think that this possibly could be a full exclusive, and you know, this might be one of their first party things, and it's a smart move. Like I said, again, this is they're coming out with a new map. The good news is that we're getting it on Xbox One X and S on the early 2018. We're gonna have a full new map, so we're gonna have 2 maps. I think a lot of people are going to be playing this in 2 days, and I think that it's going to be a good thing for Xbox. You know, Xbox, you know, needs this type of game right now. You know, and you know, this is just, you know, who knows? In 2 days, we might, you know, see a lot of people playing it.
And I don't think this game is going to go to the PlayStation 4 just for the 2 reasons of the dedicated servers. That guy he's a stickler about dedicated servers, and that's one thing that he wants. And then on top of that, would PlayStation allow you know, Xbox servers to be played on PlayStation? You know, and that I don't see that happening. I don't see PlayStation giving any type of leeway to actually for PlayStation fans to play on Xbox servers to see how well that they work. I mean, just look at Halo 5. You have rarely any problems on that game whatsoever. And it is also Gears on I think Gears is also on there, and I don't think we have that many problems. I don't play Gears Online that often.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, but you know, how it works. You play online, you know what I mean? Sometimes it runs smooth. Depends on who's hosting, and you know, it's party chats. You know, depends on any party. It depends, but hey, he's eating bullets. He's eating my shots. You know that. He's eating my bullets. You know that shit go. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I mean, it's clear you play ranked matches and stuff. Only time I have a little issues with Gears when we do the private matches or whatever the case. But normally when I run rank or social or whatever, I don't have any issues with Gears whatsoever.
Yeah, I just don't see it coming to PlayStation 4 anytime soon, like Tim said. But you know, even if it does, I feel that Microsoft will definitely have the edge on having the best version, of course. And then, you know, and that's not really damage control. It's just the fact that I just don't think PlayStation would want to work with having crossplay as well. Because I would definitely think that would be a big thing for the devs or Bluehole, basically, to having cross-play capability to play it on the PC and with Xbox and with PlayStation. I don't think they'd let it slide with Minecraft. I don't think they would slide with any other games.
Oh, all right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You'd be so kind, hit the like. We got some fun tonight. All right, we're moving right along. PUBG. Everybody said they got it off the chest. They just do about PUBG.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. The Video Game Award Show. I listen. To me, it's like a mixed bag of fruit, you know what I mean? And I only eat plums and cherries, right? And oranges too. I'm sorry. They got a bunch of kiwi, bananas, peaches, which I'm allergic to. You know, so a lot of stuff I wasn't interested. My opinion was the show was too damn long. You know what I mean? Too long, like 3 hours. It's just too much. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of people were ragging that, you know, Microsoft, none of their games were nominated for the Game of the Year. You know, and it does. I won't say as an Xbox fan, which, you know, does suck, you know what I mean, a little bit, you know what I mean? You know, I am a gamer overall, but it is what it is. But I'm glad to see that a game like Cuphead got its just due. And also 2 Forza beat out Gran Turismo, which is deserving. 9 Simulation Racers, but you know, those guys really turned him do an amazing job with Forza. But here's my thing, and I'm gonna get you guys what you spoke before. I look at it as the Video Game Award Show. It was hosted in Microsoft's building. I look at it maybe as a missed opportunity. You had Nintendo there showing off new stuff. A little clip of Bayonetta 3 got their fans excited. Sony did what they did, cool, and nothing from I don't care if, you know, they remember Microsoft had that whole sizzle reel at E3, 40 games. They had a couple games, Black Desert. I don't care if they highlight or showcase one of those or Ori and the Blind, something. I wish they would have showed something to just the quiet, you know, the noise about them not having any exclusives, something. And it seems like to me, and I want to get you guys' opinion, I'm gonna shut the hell up. It's like they're oblivious to what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? What's like being said, you know what I mean? Because again, I go back to what Shannon Loftus said to say that Recoil is on a level as Halo and Gears. I damn near swallowed my liver. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? I just wish they would have showed something. You know, like I said, one of those 40 or say, come on, we're working on something, you know what I mean? And in your own building, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, the bully walked into your house, slapped your wife. Hey, give me your Wi-Fi passcode. You know what I mean? Give me that. You know what I mean? I ain't playing for no internet. Like, I'm something. Like I said, when you got Nintendo out there showing on new stuff, like, come on, man. Like, what are you guys' thoughts? Tell me, you see the show? Which Microsoft would show you? Show like, we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the show. I watched it. You talking about the VGAs, right?
Yeah, VGAs.
I enjoyed the VGAs. It was
3 hours.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was just great overall for gamers. I mean, it's good to see the big three doing well. I mean, it was funny because you get all those lists from PlayStation fanboys and girls, and they, and Horizon Zero Dawn is supposed to be the Zelda killer, and Zelda killed everything. So it was great for Cuphead. Cuphead was well deserved. I was really happy about Hellblade. PlayStation gamers, buy that fucking game. Stop showing the list. Buy the damn game. And so the thing of it, I was really happy about that. And then the fact that Forza 7 is, again, proclaimed the best. It is the best. I just hate that category. I think sports games and racers, as many racers as there were available this year, they should have been separate, because I hate. This was a really good Madden that came out this year. You got FIFA, you got NBA 2K18, you had NBA Live that was improved greatly. There was so many sports games too that should have had some better recognition. And I hate that the way they just kind of clam them together and say, here, we'll just throw you a bone. But I was happy for Nintendo. I mean, it shows that Nintendo was back. It's a player into the game. And, Zelda, and I've already called it. I think all of us pretty much called that Zelda was going to win. And so,
I thought Mario was going to win, honestly.
You did? Well, I called Zelda. But, Michael, I do agree with you. I said this myself on GRG, was that, Microsoft, if I was sitting there with like Aaron Greenberg was and Major Nelson in that building, and you're seeing all these advertisements from Nintendo, you're seeing the few advertisements from Sony, and you don't really show anything but maybe a little snippet of Madden and PUBG, that's disappointing. You had to show something, like Z said. I mean, Blue Desert. I mean, how many people even talk about Blue Desert or any other of the games that was listed at E3? That disturbed me. And so, they missed out on the opportunity of showing some stuff. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the show, man.
I think piggybacking on what Tim said on how Microsoft has a plan for the year, and then they shut it down come, November, December. I think their plan was already set that, they weren't going to show anything. I think it's disappointing that the Game Awards don't give a chance to showcase Forza 7 on stage and let everybody know how great of a game it is. They just, it was an award given off camera. I think that sucks. I think that's kind of unfair, but whatever, it is what it is. I think Cuphead winning as many awards that it did win, I think that's great for Studio MDHR and just for games in general. That game really brought me back this year. I was feeling a lull in gaming. I played a lot of Injustice, but that was just kind of going through the motions of playing something. And Cuphead really made me have fun with gaming again. So I'm happy that Cuphead won. I think, what K Mega said, that Microsoft did drop a ball to not show anything. Yeah, we got a Sea of Thieves release date, which is March 20th. That's great. And then PUBG basically saying that it is a console exclusive. Now, whether, lifetime or, Tomb Raider deal, who knows? But until then, and until it's on another console, or they say it's on another console, it's still exclusive to Microsoft. That's the way I'm going to go with that. Other than that, man, it was just I think it was kind of a long show. I think they could have cut some things out. I think some speeches may have went a little long. I think that guy with Jeff Keighley going off saying "fuck the Oscars," it's like, come on, dude.
That was great. He was on that.
I like that.
Why?
He was hilarious, but like just him saying "fuck the Oscars" and stuff like that. It's like, come on, dude. The Oscars and the VGAs aren't even in the same building or the state or whatever you want to call it. But I think him being funny about saying the Loot Crate thing, and then what's his face, Chuck from that TV show, microtransactioning, opening up the envelope. That was fucking hilarious. Yeah, good show. A little bit long. Other than that, Microsoft kind of did drop the ball. They should have shown something new. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with the panel's pretty much take on that. As far as the show, I think made a lot of improvements. Too many ads, but they say us to pay for it. I think 2 hours is definitely enough to schedule a show and stick to it and get it packing a lot of stuff, and have the ad ratio down a little bit. They had a lot of the same ads and some of that stuff. As far as what Chris said, again, yeah, it's pretty much that. I think that this is their downtime, and they didn't plan to have any of this show. Everything they do is planned. So what you expect is in January, first week of January, you're going to start to within Redmond and the campus and about Xbox. The biggest news that's going to be set forward is going to be planned that day or that week, that opening week, and the plan is going to be set, and it's going to probably end around Black Friday, you know, and then everyone, it's going to be the same thing. Now, they're going to have I think they're going to have some stuff finally, and they've done themselves damage with this, staying too long, too quiet. You know, Sony plays to win, which we'll probably get into. They play to win. They'll move up shows. They're working year round. You know, they will make a decision the day of. Unfortunately, Microsoft doesn't seem to have that management model, and I think it hurts them. You know, they should be
all right. Okay.
They should have a situation where they're, you know, ready to make a decision the day of or a week of if a sale comes out. You know, alter those plans. You know, being that you set it forward doesn't mean that you can't revise it. And I think Sony does the same thing. It's just that they'll just go in and say, "Fuck it, let's win. Let's put fucking 199 PS4 Slim and put it for a week and a half, and just do it on the thing." But that's them. With Xbox, that's why you haven't seen anything, is because their plan has been set forward. And this E3, I do think we're going to get a big E3 because they need to have a big E3, and they need to maybe have another possible show, and they need to have some news because it's dried up. And Sony didn't have anything for PSX, but you know, if they had a huge PSX on top of everything with the Game Awards, you know, you lose more of the market share. So that's the thing. They have to try to regain some of the market share, and they can't, just hope Sony doesn't, you know, drop the ball in some areas or just run out of things, because Sony's playing this to win. They're playing this to be hardcore about it. And Microsoft, you know, you can't go through motions, in my opinion. You know, if I'm going to be honest about it, you have to make decisions, and you have to maybe show a couple of the trailers that they had for E3, maybe some gameplay. That game, there was a couple of games that they showed at E3 that were really good looking.
Ashen,
that indie one, the one
that
was
Ashen. I mean, if you
that's
had
what I'm saying, you had to show in your building, show something.
And kind of really, they need to reevaluate that, but I don't think they will. I think that they stay to their 11-month schedule, but within those 11 months they work, you know, 10-12 hour days a day, and it's rigorous, but you just need to be there year round. You need to be able to say, hey, let's get up an Ashen demo, let's get up a 2040 demo, that game that everyone's talking about. I forgot the name of it. You know, even show, you know, they could have shown Forza Horizon 4. Even, you know,
they could even showed Forza Horizon 3. They could have showed the 4K stuff. They could have said, hey, that's when the next version's coming out.
Yeah, they could have advertised the enhanced games. I mean,
or they could have done something like that, or had some type of skit, and they didn't.
Let me ask you a question, Tim, and I guess we can swing into the MPDs, and then we can go touch Sony's PSX. And you said, you know, what Sony had, because they say have a contingency plan. We all knew that Microsoft was going to, what was it, 189 for Black Friday?
Yeah.
Right. All right. I've seen some people had it with games. And Sony got the how you say, the week start. They started Monday, right? Yeah. And my thing is, again, and that's what I always said this again. I said, you know, I think this regime, Microsoft, they don't really care about winning. They just care about making as much money as possible on everyone's platform. And at the end of the day, it is about making money. But for your let me say this, right? And I don't have any.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but if it's about making money, you also have to realize Mindshare is a big thing. And
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? And I don't get any stocks in Microsoft. I'm thinking about buying some though, so I can be a real life fanboy. But I'm talking about you just released a new console that we all been waiting for, right? It's just kind of like, damn it, you know, I wanted them to win this one. And I know I got the bet with Porter Rock, but I have since found Christ, and it's against my religion to bet.
Oh my goodness,
forgive me. But again, you know, that 1 week, I mean, god damn, you know what I mean? Like that, like can it be stopped? Like I don't understand this. Who the hell doesn't have a PS4 by now? You know what I mean? Like this is like bananas. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, man.
Microsoft needs to be proactive, though. They really do. And at least counteractive. Like you saw that Sony dropped the price. The next day, you should have dropped the Xbox One S to the price that it was going to be at for Black Friday. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And they probably would have won the MPD. Also, why are you waiting to react to Sony? Do something first. Sony's not waiting on you. Sony, they said, you know what? The X is out. The S is going to be cheap Black Friday. And like Tim Dog was saying, Mindshare is changing. You know what? Let's drop the price on the PS4 to its lowest price ever to try to combat that. And let's also drop the PS4 Pro price. And it had an effect on sales. It's not that people don't know that the Xbox One X is a better system or it's more powerful. They just saw that price point, and you know, some guys that have an Xbox One already said, you know what, I'm gonna grab a PS4. And you know, and of course the casuals, the people getting them for Christmas, you know, they're seeing that this console is like $100 cheaper than the Xbox One S, and they picked it up.
Yeah, and it was a 1 terabyte, and it was a better deal than Xbox had. So what happened here is that the way Sony works is, and they'll do it at the disregard of their fans, and this will just show you, and you'll understand what I'm saying, or at least what I think. They look at the situation and say, oh, whoa, X is freaking releasing. We got to kind of combat this. We got to get this mind share. So you know what? Let's screw over PSX. We'll just make it like a panel and an interview thing, regardless of what the fans' expectations are. And let's just move that up for Paris Games Week, and we'll just put out a press release that after that you know, PSX won't be as big, you know. But that's a credit to them, because they say, hey, I don't want them to win. I'll do whatever it takes. And again, they'll say, hey, you know, let's beat the X. Let's really give it to our fans. You know, they'll say games matter. They say, well, power won't matter. Let's just go all out. Let's give a 1 terabyte, $199, $100 deal off. Whatever they have, they're not gonna be that liberal with taking money. We'll take the hit because we'll get the share. And they take the hit and they get the share. And in the end, that pays off more than what you the price difference. Now, Xbox, on the other hand, had a 500 gigabit, and it's 500 gigabit, and it's no game, and it's only marked down $80 of its MSRP, which is $279.
Why not bundle that damn thing with Minecraft?
They should have made it $169. They should have, you know, they should have went all out. But again, you're dealing with a company that's willing to be counteractive and be flexible, and you know, go after the bottom line and mind share and all the things that people say, oh, nobody matters. It doesn't matter. It does matter, because when people see people winning and it keeps winning, it's like when, you know, everyone wants to be on the winning team. When in New York, when the Mets were winning in '86, you couldn't find a Yankee fan, okay? And then after the Yankees started winning, you couldn't find a Mets fan. And then in 2015, when the Mets were good, then you saw all these new Met fans. And now the Yankees get stand, and now it's the same thing. People will go with the winner. There's people in the middle of the road that will go either way, and they won't really give a shit about anything technical. They just want to be with the winning team. So Sony gets that. They do it on Xbox's home turf, which is even more, you know, back kick or whatever you want it. And you know, they just want it more. And you know what, when you want it more in life, you get it. And I just kind of feel like Microsoft should revise that and be a little bit more proactive, counteractive, and say, hey, we gotta do that. And next year they could do the same thing. They could say, hey, $399 fucking Xbox One X, let's just take this to NPD. And they would win it, but they'll probably go $449 and 3 months Game Pass. And Sony will do the same thing. Say, let's go $169, 1 terabit PS4. So Sony is just willing to do what it takes to win. And I think that's kind of what happens here. And the bad thing for Xbox is that Sony is, or their management is definitely willing to take the risks. And I don't see Xbox at this point willing to take the risk. Will it change in the future? I think it has to, because a market share keeps going one way, and getting now sold 3-1. You got to make changes. Bottom line.
Maggie, you want to ask something, or are you done? Or Chris?
I think Microsoft got lucky that PSX was garbage, because if PSX was a home run, man, that bleeding would have been pretty bad.
Well, I said that. I said that earlier. I said the same. You imagine if they had the same show that they had like last year. They showed Cypher Gun. You know how bad what we would be saying on this podcast. It gets to the point where you say you're getting your ass kicked, and again, they cannot be in a position where Sony could just have that knockout show. I felt like the same thing with E3. And again, this all ties into Sony doing what it takes to win. They will throw a freaking trailer out 4 years out, 5 years out with Kojima. They'll do it. They'll do whatever. You know what I mean? And they just dried up at the time and at the time where it could have been a critical hit. But you can't. The more you keep going this route, you're going to get that critical hit. And then, like I said, now you're irrelevant. And when you're irrelevant, that's not good.
Yeah, well, to me, I just look at it as, I'm staying fast. I don't really change my stripes when it comes to how I feel about things. And I've been saying, look, 2018's E3 is going to be the telling tale about where Microsoft is trying to head. And and I know that the games are going to come. But I do think that the strategy needs to change to the point to where you can't show games 5 years, because you might have another scale bound, and then that, I think, is more devastating than anything. PlayStation could just get away with whatever they want to, because their fan base just eats it up. Some of them act like cattle. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't matter. Yeah. They just follow the trends. Xbox gamers, they're totally different in the fact that they're more, they criticize more, which is nothing wrong with that. They want the best, they expect the best. But I think Microsoft definitely has to show something to get the fan base rolling again. And this PSA, like I said, having better games at the end of the year could be a testament to Xbox coming in and having the momentum. But again, the PUBG situation with the 30, 60 frames, then not advertising at the VGAs, and then just basically just kind of being hush-hush about something. I mean, the backwards compatible games, they got Persona 4, the fighting game, out and available. You can get that game on the Xbox, but there's really no advertisement for that stuff. And just also, they could even advertise the Game Pass, which is huge for Microsoft. I just don't get where their logic is on certain things when it comes to promoting their items. I really don't. So,
do you think Microsoft tries to use word of mouth way too much more than what they probably should? Like right now, they kind of got themselves in a hole, and they've in my opinion, I think they've really relied on the hardcore going at it with people on Twitter and in places like NeoGAF when that was a thing. I think they really need to get back to spending money on advertising like everybody else has been saying. What have we been saying for the last couple of years is, where is their advertising? Where is their third-party marketing deals?
100%, and this is legit criticism too. Like this is something Xbox fans don't do again, and this is why I like the fan base. Sometimes it could be annoying, but we're giving legitimate criticism here, and we're hitting home on these points right now. The bottom line is that they have to take it more seriously. You can't go half-hearted with this, because if you're going half-hearted with your marketing, and people catch on, and it just doesn't.
Let me ask you a question, Tim. And again, let me ask you a question. You guys, you can chime in. Shout out to the 250 people watching this live, or 270. Sorry, if you'd be so kind, like I said, hit the like button. It really helps the show. 2 seconds. Hit the like button. I got some Xbox Live codes too. I'll drop in the chat for you guys also. Shout out to Surge305. He donated some codes for you guys. I got a question, and what statement if I feel. How should I say this? And again, Tim, and you guys can go, or D. As of late, I've been very highly, but I won't say too critical, but I've been calling them out for the bullshit. You know what I mean? Normally I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Just for the whole next gen or Xbox fanboy. But I started thinking when I say that, you know, maybe it was noticing it's a problem. I know I may be a big Fable fanboy, maybe, you know, it is what it is. But when they would take, I remember, you remember when they first showed off Phantom Dust. I think it was an E3 2014, or they did a trailer or whatever. Then I forgot the name of the studio, but they were going to do a full-up next generation version, and they fall out about over $8 million, right? Cool. And they gave us the original one. You know how I feel about that. Like, goddamn, you know what I mean? Like, I really felt like they did the game an injustice. But to find the resources or the loose change in the purse, in the couch to enhance a Zoo Tycoon or Disney Rush, to me, that just makes no sense. I understand that you have diversity, you know, but an 8-year-old kid is not buying a $5 Xbox One X. Let's be clear this, okay? Like, I don't know who decision that was to do that. Like, to me, that makes no sense. So I raised the question again. Like, I felt like this generation, Microsoft lost their identity as far as what their core wants. You know what I mean? And it's been kind of like at the start of the generation. Like, you know, I remember when the 360 came out. I'm going to take you guys back when he had my man Jay Allard. You guys remember him? And this cool hip guy with the Zoom, Jay Allard. You know what I mean? And you had this very organic, very how you say niche fan base, right? And once you got more casual with the duties and stuff like that, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but the original Xbox was looked at more of a hardcore gaming console, and the PlayStation 2 was more of the casual machine. It is what it is. You got all your code classes on the original Xbox. Like the rules is kind of reversed a little bit, right? So you got this new console, and it's crazy that we're going back. You couldn't tell me that we were going to be singing. We live on a high. How you say 3 bots on the kills? Chickens, Jeffness. We was moving on up. You couldn't tell we got the X's here. Bada boom, bada bang, bada bang. Hit at the hit. And it's that we're still going back to them. They still just don't get it. You know what I mean? Even you look at their Gamescom. Like, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? Horrible. Did a horrible job at marketing and promoting this $5 machine. You know what I mean? Digital Foundry did the X more justly. I mean, that's crazy that I'm saying this than actual Microsoft. Yeah, like I don't understand that.
Well, I think that it comes into. I think that there's some changes that happened that kind of moving forward could actually fix some of the problems we're talking about here. There were people in Microsoft that I believe that weren't for the X per se, because 2 consoles. People said that the notion of recalling, you know, putting them both out there in 2016 was the wrong idea. You have 2 machines. There's so much cost to make this, and we're not going to see our return. And there was a lot of that. And then, you know, you get into, you know, how much you're spending and where you're going to cut corners to get, you know, this here. And I think that the business structure or the structure of the way it was with Phil under Meyerson, kind of put Phil at a disadvantage there, where he had to kind of budget and he had to keep costs down, operating costs down, and he had to, you know, pick Peter or pay Peter to pay Paul, that type of deal. Yeah, you know, and in that case, it really started to affect Xbox. I think for the last 2 years, I think that they shut down the marketing. They got to pump money back into Xbox, and I think that this year moving forward with Phil on his own now, he's going to have that leeway. Microsoft has the money. You have to ask for it. You have to start to you know, move forward. And first party is their focus. I can tell you that for a fact. I had asked internally because, you know, and as many did other Xbox fans, and from what I've heard, and from some of the public comments, they are looking to, you know, fix that problem. And I think that that's going to happen, but it's just going to take time because games take time.
Right, and that's
I hope, in all honesty, that they really. I mean, I don't, you know, people saying in the comments, oh, you're asking for people to get fired for them to lose their job. Listen, I want the platform to succeed. And personally, I just don't think marketing is cutting it. Like, you knew the Xbox One X was coming a year ago. You should have had some type of third-party deals in place there so that you could really get, you know, the benefits of the X across to the gamer. For starters, on Black Friday, okay, we understand it's a new console, so of course they're not going to discount the console, but perhaps they should have thrown in some of their games. You know, how about Forza Horizon 3 and I don't know, a Cuphead or something for free with any console that you buy. Well, that would have helped move some more units. Like, they just don't have any fresh ideas. They just seem like they don't have any ideas. And going forward, and I understand what you're saying, Tim, that now Phil has a lot more control in his hand. Going forward, they need to address these issues if the brand is going to be successful, because the marketing as it is just not going to cut it. And I know you guys probably touched on this earlier in the show. Unfortunately, I didn't get to hear it. Like, they did the conference, the game show at the Microsoft Center. Like, why don't you have something, take advantage of that and have something up, even if it's about your console, whatever, have something there demonstrating the power of the X or the games coming or I don't know, something.
At least how much do you think an ad costs? How much do you think an ad costs for Game Awards?
A lot.
$1,000?
No, a lot more than that, probably. It's on TV.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but when in your building, you have a lot of.
I agree. I think they need to be competitive. I think, this, it's like, I was talking to somebody and I said, when Horizon and Switch came out, and you basically had everyone, the whole division, come out, and they were like Switch miss, and that stuff was not like. I think that's not a good thing, because you have to be competitive.
I was disappointed about that. Yeah.
You have to be like, we want to be win. It's not like you have to say don't go. You could just have to be about what about your win. You have to be competitive. Nintendo and Sony are competitive. Okay, they both go at each other, and Sony is the most competitive. Okay, they will do whatever it takes. And I just think that when you're in that climate, you can't be the nice guy, because you're just going to get set up. So I think that going forward, they should spend money on marketing, third-party marketing. They should get third-party deals. Who cares what Phil said in the past?
Well, that wasn't even, but yeah, Phil did say that. But then also you got to blame the Xbox fan base, because of the fact that they were the ones that were saying, look, we need to worry about more exclusives, keeping it in-house instead of paying for Call of Duty ads and all of that.
Which didn't help us, though.
No, and it didn't. But it was the Xbox fan base that said that. So again, they're only listening to. Sometimes I don't even know who
was it. Was the Xbox fan, but was some Sony guys claiming to be neutral?
It could. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be that it was so-called neutrals that were bringing this, and that's why I come to ask the question: who does the Xbox brass listens to at the end of the day? Because sometimes I feel that the direction on the advertising stuff, I don't agree full-heartedly what you say about Zoo Tycoon and all that stuff, Z, because I think that having more games to the portfolio is fine.
I wasn't. I was complaining about. My thing is enhancing them.
Well, there's nothing wrong with enhancing those games. You know what I'm saying? Those games are available. Enhance them. They're going to keep continuing to enhance these games. The fact of it is that the things that I agree with the panel with is that they have to have a different direction with their advertising. They have to be more aggressive, and the fact that they might have to increase their time frame of when they're going to advertise a game. Stop being afraid of the situation with Scalebound, because PlayStation gets away with delaying. Hell, if God of War gets delayed, even though we're thinking it's going to come out in March, the PlayStation fan base is still going to support the game. You see what I'm saying? So don't be afraid of that. Let those people that just want to bitch and complain on the Xbox side, let them bitch and complain, but show us something, because they're the ones that's speaking loud, saying that they want to see something, they want more. But then if the game gets delayed, oh my God, it's over for Xbox. Fuck what they got to say. Just do what you got to do. Be aggressive.
But to be fair for Sony on their delays, most of their delays happen on established franchises, the Uncharted's, God of War. You know what I mean? They never really had firm release dates for what's that one with the motorcycle zombies? Gone Home or whatever that is. Like, they never really had a firm date on that, so they can keep bringing that out because they've never had a firm date. I know that they're kind of hinting around for a spring release for Detroit, but again, they still don't have a firm date, so they can delay it. Even though Detroit's not
even though they said 2018, I think it'll be 2019.
Yeah, but Detroit's not an established franchise. It's just by a good developer, So I think Scalebound in the end kind of holds Microsoft back for announcing shit because they don't want to deal with the backlash again.
Okay, here's the thing, right? And it's not so much. Here's the thing about a delay in canceling. One thing, well, I understand it's the nature of I say the beauty of the beast, nature of the beast, rather. I'm sorry, where games get canceled all the time. But what I will give Sony's credit, when games are canceled or whatever, or they are made public, they replace it with something else. The fact that we lost Scalebound and if nothing took its place, the fact that we lost Fable Legends or whatever the hell it should
nothing to add Star Wars and
nothing
and Super. What was the Street Fighter 5 that we were supposed to get?
And the next Street Fighter, and the next Street Fighter is exclusives. You know what I mean? But again, I say this right to answer King Mega. It wasn't again so much about because you in business, right? I know a little thing about that. Whether you think my business will legal or not, fuck you and your grandmother, right? That you have to do what your competition is doing, and then more. It's not that because you are Microsoft, and you know basically like Bill said, we don't have to play second fiddle to anyone. You know what I mean? It's not so much.
Well, listen, it's more put up or shut up because at this point we sound like freaking broken records. I said at the 2017 we're not getting what we want, and 2018 was going to be the E3 that really tells us what the deal is. Now, if they have a bad E3 2018, and
they're
we get
sunk.
bad vibes, they're done.
Then I will be where Z is if Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I've said that. I've been on the record saying that. I know from what has been stated in that they were trying to go into the pattern of going back to the 360 era, which sounds fantastic. You hear
what part of this is the last or the beginning of the generation?
No. They just said this recently. They just said this recently.
No. What I'm saying is during what 360 era?
The Project Natal era.
So during the end, all we had was the Call of Duty stuff, and at the beginning you had the exclusives of the generation.
Yeah, the end. That's how the PlayStation caught back up. Just to touch on what you're saying there, though, this E3, Microsoft has to deliver. As much as I love the brand, I know I'm gonna keep it real here. If they don't deliver at this E3, it could be the beginning of the end for the Xbox brand because next year alone, a lot of games are coming out for the PS4, man. And you know what? At this E3, they're going to show us games. Doesn't matter if they're 5 years out, whatever. They're going to show us a whole new slew of games too. So Xbox needs to deliver this year. They have to. It's do or die.
I'm not going that far with the do or die that Xbox brand has done and all that, but I will say the perception of Xbox ever winning the next generation would definitely hurt them, and they could be second or third for sure. I can agree with that, but just saying that the Xbox brand is done.
The mind share is very important. That is very last generation. We had the mind share. Microsoft screwed that up with what they announced for the original Xbox One, and everybody jumped shit. This generation, the PlayStation has the mind share. So when they're coming out with the PS5 and they still have the mind share, we can't sit there and expect the Xbox One or the next Xbox is going to do great. They have to recapture that mind share. They have to start chipping away at it. And this E3 is a big E3 to show us the direction that Microsoft's
got to be a big. I agree. It's got to be.
It's going to be bad if E3 is a flop. It's going to be really bad.
You'll start to lose hardcores, and then you'll realize. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, they have to. But
it's critical. It's critical.
We might have to make it tough on them if they have an E3.
We have to.
Well, if you look at how their 2018 starting, so we have Sea of Thieves in March. When is State of Decay? Probably April, May.
I'd say August.
August, really that late?
Yeah, I always. I just think that they will have. They'll spread that out. I always go on the side of caution with game dates.
Well, that's another thing with that as well, is that look how overcritical that we are about the games that don't have release dates on Microsoft, but then yet PlayStation doesn't give any, and they still anticipating they're going to come. How many people were telling us that God of War was going to come out at the end of the year, which made no sense because that's not been PlayStation 4's strategy or pattern since they have these marketing right deals. So they're going to get the bulk of their exclusives in the first part of the year. and then let the third party do their thing at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft not showing anything again. Here we go saying, well, I'm a little nervous. Don't know if it's going to come out. This game going to get canceled. The same thing they said about Sea of Thieves. And now there's a release date. So where are we at, guys? I mean, do we want Microsoft to give us dates or what?
Yeah, I like the dates. I think you're going to get March. I think that you'll get summer for State of Decay. And I think that with Crackdown 3, you have to, that's your most critical IP there. And if it means that you got to do it, put it in September.
But they can't come next holiday of just Crackdown. They just
they have that Forza Horizon 4. They need one more game.
They'll have Forza Horizon 4, and they'll probably have another game.
They need one more game.
They'll probably have another PUBG type. You know, they might have a deal like that going with you know, who knows? I mean, they'll have a game. I mean, at the end of the day, that in 2 days we're playing PUBG, which is a pretty big get.
They need
and
Halo
we
6
didn't know that until E3. So, you know. If they could have Halo 6 too, or they could have something like, you know, some type of Gears, something. I don't know. They could have something because now you're going 2 years after Gears development cycle, 3 years after Halo. So Halo might be ready, and if it's ready, that'll be good. It'd be huge. Then your whole year is State of Decay, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown. You have a lot of firsts, Xbox,
Forza.
like Ash and Forza 4, and you're talking about Halo 6. That's a good year.
What's that one, that side-scroller 8-bit looking game?
That's the game that I'm talking about that they should have.
Oh, The Last Night. That's it.
They should have had that at the awards.
Yeah, The Last Night.
And they should have had a presentation because that game supposedly is really unbelievable at 4K. I just heard it's a really good game. So, and it has a really good vibe about it. Why not have that at the thing? So that's, I mean, we're going a little bit back in the show, but that's the game that I couldn't remember. Remember when I was saying, like, have an advertisement for that? But yeah, they have a lot of firsts. They got Black Desert first. They got that game first. They got Ashen, which will probably be 6 months to a year exclusive, maybe.
What happened there? Why'd they decide to possibly go?
Well, hold on 1 second before you guys. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. I was trying to read these guys. He left. Shout out to Claddy Cat 23 dropped $5 in the super chat. He said Microsoft should have spent their money on games and not hardware. And BC, I guess backwards, but then at least 3 or 4 exclusives.
They didn't have the hardware to push these games.
If we had all the games in the world and we had Xbox One S, we'd be getting destroyed right now.
Yeah, they had to close that narrative.
They had to close that narrative, and you know what? It's just funny watching that narrative now because nobody wants to talk about the ass kicking that Pro takes on these fucking things, like Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon looks beautiful. Shit. I mean, and that game does not look like that on PlayStation 4 Pro. And you know what? Nobody wants to talk about it. They, you know, it used to be up all over the place, but they closed that narrative and they shut those people the fuck up because those people wouldn't shut up and they acted like power was the biggest thing. We all knew it. We all lived it. You know, power is the best. Multiplats is all that really matters. I'll fucking hype. They had Jabari over there hyping Octodad, Warframe. He had all these games. He was Towerfall versus Titanfall. I mean, these guys just forget. But the bottom line is that they had to close that hardware narrative, and they did. Now it's just the games. You know, it's typical with Xbox. Whenever they have a weak spot, whether it's indies, being that Xbox 360 was championing them, but they have ID at Xbox, you know, reforming in the first 4 months or 6 months were light with indies. Remember how big indies were at the start of the gen?
Yeah.
How big it was? Because it was a weak spot for Xbox. So unfortunately, Xbox cannot have a weak spot because when Microsoft has a weak spot, people will draw a narrative around it for whatever reason. You know, these guys will pay money for remasters when you get remasters on Xbox One X.
Medieval,
you know,
Megaton.
Yeah, that's the one thing that bothers me about the whole remasters and then the backwards compatibility conversation, because Medieval and Shadow of the Colossus is coming as remakes, and
who's
they're
asking for
that.
Medieval?
I don't know. And then he told that shirt, dude look nasty, man.
That shirt, I know he said this in pre-chat, but
he looked broke as fuck. Like them shoes, them teeth. I'm like, God damn, don't you make 6 figures, bro? Like, I mean, come on, man. You got to have a better opinion there. But anyway, no, the thing with the narrative, with the backwards compatibility and all that, look, if you want to pay was it going to be $40 to $60 for a remake instead of playing backwards compatible games that you might have already owned digitally or may already have in your backlog? That's on you. But I mean, there's really, I mean, until PlayStation fans start stepping up and start calling out some of the garbage that PlayStation does, I mean, they'll just keep doing what they want to because the only thing they care is that market share, like you said, Tim.
On your point, though, with the games, I mean, when we get the enhanced games, and believe me, there's going to be more 360 enhanced games, probably Fable and games like that. But when we get these games, they're actually like remasters. You know what I mean? They're like remasters.
No, they are.
Well, I guess we can.
And we're free, and they're free.
Shadow of the Colossus is a remaster of a remaster.
It's a damn good looking remaster. I will.
Yeah, that one at least.
Remaster looks sweet though.
But they're the same people who say old games now. Obviously, listen, you could go back to Gears 3 and Halo 3, and when you play them on X and you're playing it on a 4K, it's impressive. And you know what? You can always get back into those games. So games matter. Back where I mean. I don't think the AAA level or they should be ever put on that, but it is definitely a nice perk that Xbox gets these games. You know what I mean? Like it's a good thing going forward. And if you watch the Digital Foundry thing, I posted it up today. I don't know if you guys saw it. You probably saw it about the forward compatibility and backwards compatibility. Xbox has a real plan with this whole platform, and I don't think Sony has a plan. Yeah, I think they're a little shuffling right now. Where Xbox, Sony might come out with a Pro X in 2019 or 2020, but right behind that, Xbox is going to come out with a system that's going to trump it. And believe me, the Pro X probably will be comparable to the X. And I just think that Xbox now, with the way that they structured this, they're going to be in a position of strength because Sony doesn't, it's not easy to get your games, even though it's x86 architecture. And I've spoken to guys that are master level developers on this, you know what I mean, at E3, and people that are just, the main guy. And this stuff takes work, and Xbox has a division, ATG, that's been working on backwards compatibility and forward compatibility since 2015. Now, Sony does not have that, so they're going to have to come up with some makeshift way to get backwards compatibility. But with Xbox, guess what? Next Xbox, you're going to be able to play Sunset Overdrive probably 4K 60, or an enhanced game, all your older games 4K 60, where Sony will have their system and it doesn't do the same thing. So I think that the one good part is Microsoft set up really well in the future. And if you see that Digital Foundry video, it talks about like how they're set up. It's basically about Xbox. They mentioned Sony, but Xbox been doing this for a long time, and I think that this is a real position of strength they finally have over Sony.
Yeah, I think that's ingenious because just like on the PC, if I switch out my card and I get a more powerful card, those same games that I own, I can run them at a higher fidelity. And just the fact that the next Xbox will have that built in, that's huge. And at the same time, it won't hold back the development of that system because I'm pretty sure the next Xbox won't. They'll be making games specifically for that, and they'll stop making games that have to run on the S and the X at that point, right? So they have a good future plan, but
I think everything is going to stay as it is, as far as them going forward with the Xbox One X and Xbox, whatever the next Xbox One is. I don't.
Yeah, well, there's no more generations. I think Xbox is going to be that. But I think next Xbox, though, you're going to be able to play all your games 4K 60 and certain things like that. Like I think it'll be the right way.
But it's still going to be an Xbox One.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
That's the only way they can get around with the licensing for backwards compatibility. It's the only way. It's the only way. If they come out with another Xbox and say like they call it Xbox Prime, okay, it's not an Xbox One. They have to go back and get the licensing fees again and work on all the rights again for backwards compatibility. Yeah. If they keep it as an Xbox One, they don't have to do that. They don't have to worry about that. Well, there's never going to be another Xbox. It's going to be an Xbox One.
Well, regardless, whatever the name will be, however, that's minute. The thing of it is that you could bring your library with you from here on out, and that's huge. That's something that PC gamers get the luxury of having. Never been done in console, so this is a big step in the right direction. Now it's just on to advertising and just showing gamers that they're committed on bringing more exclusives. That's it.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that Sony can't do it, but you gotta realize they did spend $350 million for those Gaikai servers. They don't really have an incentive to do it to give you backwards compatibility. I'm quite sure they could do it. You know what I mean? But they want you to repurchase that game again. You know what I mean? This is Sony's money. This is their bread and butter. You know what I mean? So the things that Microsoft gives us for free, Sony counts on that little extra revenue to pay the bills. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I don't think here's a question though: would the next PlayStation 5 or whatever the case may be, will it be backwards compatible, backwards and forwards compatible?
Probably with PlayStation 4 some PlayStation 4 with their bigger titles, and then they'll have some remasters for their probably best-selling PlayStation 4 titles.
So you're gonna see the same go all over again.
Yep, you're gonna see the same shit. The strategy has been working. So why would they
exactly
deviate from it?
They still want to push their PS Now, so I don't know how many games are going to be backwards compatible because they would have to just kill that service.
Not to interrupt, but I just think that they're gonna Xbox has a real thorough plan with that, where it might be a mishmash type thing with Sony PlayStation 5, but Xbox, you're gonna get enhanced titles that they go back into, give you 4K 60. The ceiling's pretty high right now. X really came in at the right time and at the right spec, I feel, and kind of puts Pro in a hard position because you're basically getting Digital Foundries, which is saying, if it has super sampling at 1440p, you're better off with a full HD set of 1080p, and that's not good. When you have Xbox, the whole true 4K thing and all that stuff plays into it, but pixel saturation is pixel saturation. If you have 1800p, it's going to scale much better and look much better than 1440p. I mean, sizable. And then if you have the full fat 2160p, obviously that's the ultimate. And Xbox, with a lot of their dynamic scaler that they're employing, and they're using this for a lot of their games now, and it's probably moving forward, is because of forward compatibility. And that's how smart that they are with this, because it's genius when you're getting the Scorpio engine running like a game like Wolfenstein as low as 36, 10% off of native 4K, and the drops are so infrequent that you don't notice it. It's really hard to notice, especially when you're sitting a little away. The image quality that they're producing with this and this pixel saturation is so much better than Pro that it really puts the Pro in a rock and hard. That console is in a real tough position going up against X, and you're talking 6 months too with people hands on, and in a year from now, a lot of these dynamic CL games are going to be native 4K, stuck at native 4K or little deviations, but the whole dynamic scaler and all that stuff. Like I said, watch that video today. It talks about it. This is all for the future. So when the next Xbox comes out, whatever answer that is, whenever that is, it's going to play these games in 4K 60 and stuff like that, or maybe even higher and downsample. You're dealing with wizards at development, and Xbox really is set up in a really good position here with X, and with the way the development's going and the way these games are going. So there's some good things of all of the things that we talked that were negative today, or what we want. There are a lot of good things going for Xbox.
Crossplay, Game Pass, and Play Anywhere are huge additions to the Xbox universe. Period. Because crossplay is that's going to attract a hell of a lot more gamers for certain games like Fortnite, PUBG. The list goes on. And with with Play Anywhere, Microsoft will still recoup that money, even though people will say that they'll lose exclusives because they'll be on PC. I think that's crazy, or be on cell phones, tablets, things like that. That's still revenue for new game development. And so in order to keep those games going. So, and then Game Pass is just a no-brainer. That's perfect. That kills PlayStation Now by leaps and bounds.
All right. Well,
you know what I just learned about Game Pass real quick? Is that if I've already used a 1 month trial, if I get another 1 month trial, I can't use it again.
Oh. Why would you
that's
cheap
pretty
bastard?
cheesy.
Yeah.
Because I got a 1 month trial a while ago, and then I got the one that came with the 1X. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see what games are on Game Pass. And you know what? I want to try a couple of these games. And then I couldn't use it, so I kind of got bummed out. I mean, I know I'm being a cheap ass because I could just get the $10, but I mean,
yeah. Well, they figured they want to build it in redundancy that you can't do that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of shitty.
I haven't even tried. I have most of the games already, probably already. What I'm gonna buy, but anyway, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for swinging by BGST tonight. If those are asking me about crap, he had to do a Secret Santa today, or something.
What the hell's that?
I don't know. Something they do with the Jewish Hanukkah. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I think crap's Muslim or something, right? I don't know what the fuck's going on.
No, he celebrates Kwanzaa. I got a beautiful card from him last year.
I think he dresses up like Santa.
Sexual?
I don't know. He dresses up like Santa rides a skateboard like Homer Simpson out that motherfucker. Through trailer parks.
Fuck's the Secret Santa?
I don't know, man. He does it every December.
What did you think about Death Stranding trailer? Z?
I think it's weird. I think I said that the last time that I saw it. I understand man, baby, and someone told me I need to elevate my mind. That's the last child. If you're something, I don't know what the hell. I wish. No, check it out, right? I don't know if it's a thriller. Is it a first person? I don't know what the hell the game is about yet.
Nobody can tell me what the gameplay is.
No, yeah, that's all I asked. Like, what the hell? Is it another Silent Hill type game?
All these CG trailers are fine. They're cool to watch, but it doesn't get me hyped for the game. It just makes me go, all right, it's just another Kojima trailer getting everybody all hyped for nothing.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't go back to the dead babies and man ass. That was fine, but
it wasn't another dead baby.
No, they went to the baby.
Well, dead babies, because remember that first trailer there was dead.
He was alive. He was just in stupid Daryl Dixon's tummy.
I don't know
which was wild. Yeah, the first couple of minutes of that trailer was epic. I was like, okay, all right, Kojima, you're making me excited, right? You know what I'm saying? I can get the game on the PC if I want to, right? And so. But after the part where dude started stabbing himself and he started floating up in the air into some kind of creature's head and dude is in the water and look, man, I don't know, man. And you know what? It's going to go over a lot of gamers' head. They can tout it. They can love Kojima. The love fest can be real for you guys, but that game is weird as hell. And especially if he keeps giving out these trailers and when nobody has an explanation what the hell that game is, that game is.
There's no way you can explain that thing.
Yeah, they're not going to buy this game because it makes no damn sense. So
that's just like being, eccentric just to be eccentric. Like I mean, to be honest, I thought it was very interesting looking. But if you're going to tell me how to make that up, I don't know what was going on. All I know is that I was like, "Whoa!" Like and I think that's what they want. But I'm sure it was just.
They're definitely building hype by everybody asking questions. What it's about? What is it? What is it? What is it? So when it comes out, obviously it's going to sell well to even the casuals who just kind of see this game and these trailers and wonder what the game is. They'll buy it and then they'll never beat it, and then they'll just watch the ending on YouTube.
Oh, you guys are hard on the PlayStation brethren, man.
I'm not hard on them.
But anyway, I said thank you all for rocking out with BGST today. Great show as always. Shout out to everyone in the chat. If you can be so kind, hit the like button. We'll catch you guys back again next Sunday. And during the week. We got the Penetration Podcast. You got the GRG on Fridays. You guys already know what I do. Any other shows, Tim?
No, I got a Game of the Year show with Xbox Uncut, and pretty much that's it.
All right, going to be another one of those long 3-hour shows like we used to do back in the day.
We're pre-recording it, so I had to commit. It's the 18th when we're going to do it. The one big problem I had with one of them was cricket one. I wanted to kill myself over Madden.
Oh shit! That shit had me dying, Tim. Oh man, but anyway, again, thank you for rocking out with us, man. We catch you guys during the weekend next week. You know what we do. Thank you.
Peace.